Okay, everyone, we're about to get started. If we can find our seats, silence our cell phones like I'm doing, greatly appreciate it. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. We are on the record. Today is Monday, the 22nd day of April in the year 2024. This is a City Council Caucus meeting of the Jersey City Municipal Council. We had a scheduled 4 p.m. start. The clock on my cell phone is showing 4:06 p.m. Maybe I have a roll call for the commencement of this caucus. Councilperson Ridley.
Here.
Councilperson Prinzeri.
Here.
Councilperson Baggiano. Councilperson Saleh will be absent. Councilperson Solomon's not here yet. Councilperson Gilmore is not here yet. Councilperson DeGise.
Here.
Councilperson Rivera.
Here.
And Council President Waterman.
Here.
We have 6 council members in attendance at 4:06 p.m. On behalf of Council President Waterman and members of the Municipal Council, in accordance with New Jersey Public Laws of 1975, Chapter 231, the Open Public Meetings Act, also known as the Sunshine Law, adequate notice of this meeting has been provided by the posting on the bulletin board of the first floor of City Hall, the annual notice, which is the schedule of meetings and caucuses of the Municipal Council for the calendar year 2024, and filed in the office of the City Clerk on Thursday, November 30th, 2023. In addition, at its time of its preparation, the agenda of this meeting was similarly disseminated on Friday, April 19th, 2024 at 6:05 p.m. to the Mayor, Municipal Council, Business Administrator, Corporation Council, and local newspapers, and posted on the city's website, so I can certify as to our total compliance with the Sunshine Law. Before we move forward, I'm going to mark present Councilperson Solomon and Councilperson Gilmore at 4:07 p.m. for both of them. So we now have 8 council members in attendance at 4:07 p.m. Council President, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Good afternoon. Cheers.
Good afternoon, President Waterman, members of the council. I have 2 items before you this evening. Resolution 24-285, 10-1. Resolution will authorize the award of an open-end contract to Samuels Incorporated, trading as Bywise Auto Parts for parts and accessories for light-duty trucks, light-duty vehicles on the New Jersey State contract for the DPW Automotive Division. Total amount of the contract is $300,000 with a temporary encumbrance of $20,000. The period of this contract is April 11, 2024 to December 31st, 2024, and is funded through the DPW operating account.
Director, can you just repeat that item number for me again?
That is item 10-1.
Thank you, sir.
The second one is 24-306, item 10-22. Resolution will authorize the award of an open-end contract to W. Campbell Supply Company for heavy-duty parts and repairs as needed for city-owned vehicles through the New Jersey Co-op Purchasing Alliance, NJCPA, for DPW Automotive. Total amount of the contract is $300,000 with a temporary encumbrance of $5,000. Funding for this matter is through the DPW operating account.
Evening, Council. One item to present before you. This is item 10.13. This is Resolution 24297. This is a resolution authorizing the renewal of a contract with Moratone and Company to provide voluntary supplemental benefits to active employees. This is no cost to the city. The city is exercising its rights for 3 additional 1-year terms. The term of the contract is April 1st, 2024 to March 31st of 2025. Moratone and Company will be providing additional voluntary benefits such as homeowners insurance, auto insurance, pet insurance, identity theft, and it's all through payroll deduction. Thank you.
Linda.
Good afternoon, Council President, Council members. Lucinda McLaughlin. I appear before you today on 2 items that are listed on the agenda and one that somehow did not make the list, but is related to one of the 2. The first item is item 10. Excuse me, I just had it. Item 10.16, which is a resolution authorizing an award of a contract to Mainline Commercial Pools, which is a member under state contract that we purchase bulk chlorine supplies for, that is anticipated at the amount of $59,490 for the entirety of the year. And that chlorine services is used at all three of our facilities, could also be used at Berry Lane Splash Pad, although we are currently retrofitting Berry Lane to hopefully work this year and not require chlorine. The other item is item number 10.17, and there is an associated resolution. So item 10.17 is a resolution rejecting the sole bid received by the city of Jersey City for the provision and installation of a pool liner system at Pavonia Pool. That was the second round of public bidding. So we are with one resolution rejecting the sole bid received, and a resolution that did not make the list but should have is a sister resolution to accept a contract that was negotiated directly for the installation and provision of the pool liner at Pavonia.
Yeah, Council President, I apologize. When we discussed having the items ready for the summer, the rejection and the acceptance were together. And so I thought they posted together, but it was just the rejection. So if it pleases the council, I'd like to re-update to include the award. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Council.
So before we have Laura come up, Director, so the resolution's already in Caucus, ready to go. Was it set for another meeting? Oh, sorry.
At this juncture, it might have the next meeting's date on it just because of the way it was, but we've been looking at it all day and hopefully will be remedied. If not while I'm standing here, it's already been done, hopefully.
Donna's pretty diligent in forwarding it to the next meeting, but we'll make sure the date's correct.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Would it be helpful for the title of it?
If you can email it to me, Director, that would be fantastic.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, council members. I'm here for resolution number 24-287, item 10.3, a resolution to cancel the 2023 real estate taxes on block 15201, lot 53, due to a subdivision of lots. The lot 53 was part of the major consolidation and subdivision of 15 lots, where 8 lots were consolidated into the new lot 1.01. And lot 53 should have been deleted from the tax list 2024, but was omitted from the deletion. So I'm here to request to cancel and refund that 2023 real estate taxes for the lot 53 in the amount of $32,668.69. Thank you.
Good evening, Council. I'm here to present one resolution tonight. It is 24-304, item 1020. This is a partnership to install health kiosks. Kiosk singular. We're going to start with one on the plaza over at 1 Jackson Square. It is a harm reduction kiosk that will provide fentanyl, xylazine test strips, Narcan to address the opioid crisis, as well as test my drink kits to identify illicit drugs in drinks. We are trying to, we will be launching this on May 10th in conjunction with Opioid Awareness Day. The cost of the program is $43,950, which is fully grant funded.
Yeah, apologies, excuse my ignorance. Can you just explain a little bit more about how the different items in the kiosk are going to work and how people will access them?
Sure. So it's provided free of charge to residents. The company that we partner with, Longview Technology Services, there's another element of the program where they continually stock all the products in the kiosk and monitor it. There's a data-driven approach too, so we could see who's using what. And the plan is for in 2025 to roll this out ward by ward, maybe multiple in each ward, need-based. Again, free of charge to the residents. The cost is absorbed by the grant.
And so just so I understand the products again, so it's Narcan in case.
Narcan, correct.
And then you mentioned another one for determine if a drink has been spiked.
Yes.
So, can you say more about what that is? Sorry.
I don't know the exact name of the product. There's several on the market. They'll let us know what they're going to be used when they implement it. But it is just to check for the presence of illicit drugs in drinks.
And is there anything? And those are the two. Was there a third, or was it just the two?
Yeah, fentanyl and xylazine. Fentanyl Are we familiar with fentanyl? A lot of drugs now being cut with it. The death rate obviously through the roof. Xylazine is, you may have heard it by a street name Trank. Philadelphia is experiencing a major problem with that right now. It's extremely lethal. It's a central nervous system depressant, which does pretty much immediately lead to death too. Street drugs are being cut with that.
And sorry, so I understand. So, and what is the kiosk provide related to those?
It provides the actual test, the actual test strip.
Oh, the test to see if there's
Provides the test.
test strips. Oh, okay, got it. That's what I missed.
And it's a full walk, it walks you through the entire process, especially with Narcan,
Okay.
which is relatively easy to use, but they did a product demo for us. It makes it super simple for somebody who's never touched it. Oh, sorry. To know exactly how to administer Narcan.
And does a similar kiosk like this exist in other cities?
Yeah, Atlanta, well, actually throughout Georgia, but predominantly in Atlanta, they have over 30 machines.
Okay.
Certain neighborhoods in DC, and they'll be scaling that out. Seattle, Washington, and they're looking to implement it in Delaware as well.
Got it.
So
Okay.
in terms of New Jersey, we'd be the first municipality with this.
Thank.
So Paul, with regards to the kiosks, what will be the hours of operation?
24/7.
So it'll be 24/7, they'll be able to just go in and is it like a ID requirement? Do they have to give any identification? How does?
They do not. There's demographic info. I cut you off. Sorry. But there's demographic information that they can provide or can't provide. And the purpose of that is so we can see to make a decision further down the road to expand the partnership, who's using it, where they live, age, gender, location. And again, it's not mandatory that they enter, but we're taking a data-driven approach to this to determine needs based on this 8-month pilot program.
Okay. No, I think it's a great idea. My only concern was I know a lot of people, particularly in that area, don't have IDs for various reasons. And I don't want that to be a
Deterrent.
yes. So that's what.
Yeah, so the ID is not necessary for any of these, for any of the products that will be distributed. So that does circumvent that a bit, but if they do have ID and choose to disclose whatever information is proprietary to them, they are welcome to, but again, not required.
And my last question, with regards to advertising, how are we advertising this?
There will be a press release. We're going to be using city social media platforms to get the word out there too. And we're trying to carve out some money from another grant to do an advertising campaign to raise awareness of the machine. Right now, it'd really be just for the machine at 1 Jackson, but as we do scale the program out, it's not going to be successful unless we raise awareness, unless people know what it's there and what we can use it for. So the onus is really on us being HHS, to let people know that the machines are there and what's being provided.
I like it. Good idea.
Paul, question. So the personnel that's given this information, what are their qualifications to explain, the product to the patient?
They're given the products that are distributed, they have a full, pamphlet. It's like a mini pamphlet. Some of it's attached to the packaging. So when they open it, it unfolds and lets them know what it is, how to administer it, and when to read. Say, for example, with the fentanyl or xylazine, like what indicates a positive test. I mean, ideally, we don't have a drug problem, but there is. So it's more, I don't think in a situation like this, the approach is to be reactive, because then really the reaction is dealing with somebody who's dead.
Right.
So this is more preventative. So
Right.
We kind of feel like, not just in Jersey City, but people taking a burying their head in the sand approach to it's not happening. It's not as big as it thinks, but it is. So if these machines save one life, they're worth it.
Well, how do we deter someone from going in and cleaning out the kiosk and taking all of the equipment from it?
There is a product limit distribution, but just per interaction. I can get back to you on that in terms of going back in again and going back in again. But the company has launched this very successfully in other cities and municipalities, so they do have measures in place.
Thank you for putting this together.
That was my question, similar to Councilwoman DeGise. But along with that, are we responsible for keeping the machines full, or is the company going to keep up with the supply?
Good question. They monitor that. It is internet connected, so they know what products are being moved. And they have a team who comes in and replaces the products as they get low. And
Okay,
they let us know what's moving as well too, because maybe we change the product mix. Right now, again, just the one kiosk, but as we have more machines by neighborhood, maybe there's a product that's more in demand than others.
okay. And do you know if there's a way for us, I guess, to track the events? Like if somebody goes in and they actually get the Narcan, like are we able to link that back to an actual event that happened in that area so we can kind of have data?
No, I kind of wanted that myself, but once that product leaves, there's no, and I guess you could sort of tie it back to HIPAA because it is still healthcare. It's like, and that gets a little bit proprietary because then people, there was, something in their presentation to us where people are going to feel, well, now they know who I am and that I operate in a circle where X, Y, or Z is needed. Good. Thank you very much.
Hello, Madam Council President, members of the City Council. I am here with two items for you today. Resolution 24-302, item 10.18. Resolution authorizing a shared services agreement with the town of Gutenberg and the city of Jersey City to provide the town of Gutenberg with animal control and animal sheltering. This is for the year 2024, and it's a nominal annual fee of $11,000 based on the census. I have a second item, item 10.19, resolution 24-304, a resolution authorizing a shared services agreement with the town of Hoboken and the city of Jersey City to provide the town of Hoboken with animal control and animal sheltering for the year 2024. This is for $100,000 for the year.
So
We didn't hear you.
How many dogs you think you're gonna get from Hoboken?
We've been getting very minimal. We've been doing it as a courtesy and a public health concern. We went into this in 2024 anticipating providing the services for both those municipalities. So when they found themselves without a provider for the year as a public health concern and to be good neighbors, we've been providing it. We only have so far 4 dogs from Hoboken and 2 from Gutenberg.
All right, look, just take care of the animals, no matter where they come from. It doesn't matter. As long as they
Always.
don't suffer.
my concerns are the same as they were earlier, and that relates to capacity. So Hoboken is looking to do $100,000 contract. Guttenberg is looking to do $11,000 contract. What is the expected amount of animals coming from each municipality? Is there a threshold? Is there a number where we can't say we can't accept over this number?
Well, what we do is we provide what's called a managed intake, which means we always take stray animals. That's required by state law. You don't have to take owner surrendered animals. You also don't have to take animals in evictions. 2 things I prefer to do, to be quite frank. Since our prior animal control provider did not supply us with the documentation of what they were doing last year, it's really speculation, to be honest, Councilman. We have set up a couple of arrangements with off-site providers for kenneling. K9 to Garden, the Jersey City business, can house 20 dogs for us if need be. Right now, we have 5 there, not out of necessity, only out of getting them into a different environment and keeping them social. But we didn't get access to last year's numbers from Liberty Humane. So we're really not sure what we're going to get there, other than it's been very slow based on what we've gotten so far this year.
Okay, and my next concern is, are you sure that we're not going to have an instance where we need the cages that's allocated to us, but they're occupied by someone else. So my issue, like, we're not gonna be overburdened with these contracts with these other municipalities as it relates to our animals needing the cages. That's my primary concern, that we're able to take in animals as need be. I don't want to get a call and say, hey, Councilman, we've been calling for the last couple of days now, Liberty Humane. They have no way to house this dog, or they have no way to house this cat. So
They
that's my major
They don't
concern.
anticipate, obviously, we would have turned down the contract if we thought that was going to be a legitimate possibility, but we have set up arrangements with other housing environments if we had to make room. To be honest, I don't think that's going to be a thing. So what we're doing is we're using the contracts we have with the other providers just for enrichment for the animals we have, to keep them social, to get them in a different environment, to get them a little more human interaction than they've been getting with us. But we have prepared for that possibility if it comes to that.
And why I understand the municipalities are not necessarily the same, but what's the rationale for the differentiation in prices in the contract?
That was negotiated by the health officer prior to my arrival, but it's just based on per capita. I don't think it's been factored in different municipalities paying a different number based on population. It's based on the census. But it's a fair question because I think it's possible that certain municipalities, based on the environment, are going to have a different cost for us to provide the service. And that's something we're going to review at the end of this year and factor it in going forward if this is something we do this year and choose to continue to do next year.
Mark, doesn't matter where an animal comes from. I think Amy and I both agree that take care of the animals, no matter where they come from. We don't want to see any animals suffer.
No, nor do I. And I don't think anyone in the health department ever felt that there was a member of the council that felt any different. We're just asking reasonable questions based on the services for Jersey City residents before we expand it to anyone else. Even when being asked hard questions, no one questions that it's about. We all want animal welfare. We just want to make sure we have the services for our municipality first. And it's a fair question.
Can you just address, in your prior role in Bergen County, you had shared and cooperative services like these. And when you saw these agreements, you felt that they were fitting for our city?
Yes, it's when I left Bergen County, when I first got put into my position, we were at 28 municipalities. We're contracting with the county for animal control. When I left, we were at 52. And those contracts allowed us to access a lot more services for our residents. What we're really hoping to get in place as soon as possible is a low-cost spay and neuter clinic for the residents of Jersey City. So a lot of what's happening in the city is we have a lot of people breeding animals on purpose. We also have people breeding animals because they can't afford to fix their animals, and it's gotten incredibly expensive if you look into that. So we have already reached out for a couple veterinarians to provide our residents with low-cost spay and neuter, and we're hoping that these contracts are going to supply that without any more cost to the residents of Jersey City.
Yes, one other question that sort of relates back to your comment about utilizing homes in case there is overflow in the shelter. So you're talking about bringing back a fostering program?
Yeah, we're talking about bringing back a fostering program and a volunteer program. It's not only better for the animals, but in the long run, it lowers the cost for taxpayers. And it's something very interactive that the public enjoys. The animals will all be properly vetted first. So it's not going to be we're just sending animals out. It's going to be the animals that we think are going to be safe in someone's home. And a lot of our residents, for whatever reason, just don't have the ability to be pet owners necessarily, but they would like to be weekend parents to a pet. It's something I used very successfully in my last role in Bergen, and I would love to institute it here.
And during kitten season, it allows for older animals to get adopted out. I'm a firm believer in the foster program. I'll reach out to you offline about some of the more specific questions I have to that, since it's not really specific to this.
Yes, ma'am.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Council President, council members. I have one ordinance, agenda number 3.4, ordinance 2428. This is an ordinance designating reserved parking spaces, various locations that were approved at the committee meeting on March 27th. That's it. Thank you.
Good evening, Council President, members of council, Mike Manzella, Director of Transportation. I have one item, agenda number 3.5, ordinance 24-029. This is an ordinance implementing changes to no turn on red, minor changes to where parking is permitted, and time limited parking for Mallory Avenue associated with improvements that are safety improvements that are planned there later this spring.
It's just regarding the previous conversation. I think we need to hold a community meeting with respect to the traffic configuration changes on Monticello. So we can
Monticello?
yes.
Yeah.
Set up a community meeting just to make sure everyone's
No problem, Councilman. We can review the results of the demonstration project, which is in place.
mundo.
Good afternoon, Council, and happy Earth Day. So I'm here for one item, Resolution 24-296, Agenda 1012. This is to apply for and accept the DOE's Energy Efficiency Conservation Block Grant Program. This grant will assist with the city implementing a rebate program to reduce greenhouse gas emissions from residential dwellings through upgrading appliances. This is a federal grant and it has $219,330 available for the city and no city cash match. Thank you very much.
After Council President, council members, for your consideration, I have one item. It is agenda number 10.7, resolution number 24-291. It's a resolution ratifying an award of a contract with Softwares House International Corporation for Questica software through the New Jersey Cooperative Purchasing Alliance, Bergen County Co-op for the Department of Finance, Office of Management and Budget. Any questions?
Danny, what does the software do?
So the software pretty much it's preparation for the annual budget book that you guys normally get every year.
Got it. So it's the list of salaries and the line items and all those things.
Well, the total contract amount is $18,388.96, and it's for 12 months. Okay. Thank you.
Asia.
Good afternoon, everyone. I have three resolutions for you this afternoon. The first one is Resolution 24-299. That's agenda item number 10.15. And it's a resolution for the Municipal Council to authorize the execution of a mortgage subordination agreement for 306 Bergen Avenue. The developer of this property made a request for about $1 million in funding from the city for this project. The project is currently already up. It's 18 rental units and 6 of which are designated as affordable at 65% of AMI. The owner wants to convert their construction loan into a permanent loan. That's why they're asking us to subordinate this mortgage in the amount of $2,900,000 from CPC Mortgage Company and the Federal Home Loan Mortgage Company, also known as Freddie Mac. DCD has reviewed the appraisal report and determined that the value of the property supports the new loan and the city's mortgage. And we've also reviewed the title commitment and determined that there's no other judgments or no other outstanding loans that would affect the property.
You lost me, Deja. I'm trying to follow this closely. This is something new to me. So this is the completed project, not the one that they're doing now.
Correct. This is the completed project.
Okay. And you said they wanted to convert the construction loan, and explain that part again?
So developers often get construction loans in order to do the work. And once work is completed, then they usually convert that into longer term permanent financing on the property.
So they'll refinance out of the construction loan, correct?
Correct. And go into a new permanent, like a regular mortgage.
Okay.
Correct. So they're going from a construction loan to the mortgage on the property.
Okay.
So in order to do that, when we give them funding from the city, I execute all of our agreements by way of a mortgage. So anytime someone wants to refinance or get some type of new mortgage on the
They have to
property,
get approval.
it requires us to get into a subordinate position because all new loans want to get in the first position. So that's what they're requesting of us. They need to get this loan from Freddie Mac. They need us to move from first to second position.
I'm learning. All right.
Okay. The next resolution I have is 10.14. It's resolution number 24-298. And it's a resolution for the city to grant us to award program year 23 HUD entitlement funds and authorize the contracts for the 23 program year.
Director, just in terms of the timeline on this as 23, we're obviously in April 24. Can you just sort of walk us through the timeline on it?
So overall, I would say I feel like in reference to my absence from the division and coming back and with a high level of staff turnover and the requirement of training that needs to happen. And you'll see in reference to the next resolution that I'm going to bring up in my review of how the city has proceeded with these things in the past, a big component that we missed were environmental reviews that are required for every type of project we do, whether we're actually disturbing the ground or not. That also includes a lot of the public service grants. So that required training of all of our agencies to be able to get all of that information and complete all of those. So that's what kicked our timeline a little bit further down than what we would have liked. I'd just like also to bring to attention, our timeline is severely impacted by Congress. So for example, for this year right now in 24, Congress just approved that T-HUD bill. So I don't even have my allocation for my 24 year from HUD yet. So with the congressional delay, our programmatic procedures, and then my return to the office and subsequent training of all the new staff, that is my honest interpretation of why this resolution is before you today.
And for the organizations, are they able to be funded sort of immediately, or how does them getting their funding from this grant work?
Wednesday, after this is approved, we'll immediately go into contracting, which we expedite this process by doing it through DocuSign, and then I'll immediately be able to start awarding funds.
Okay. And
I'm sorry, Councilman, just to remind you, this works in a reimbursement grant. So all of these agencies have already expended these funds, and then we will be reimbursing them.
And then for the public facilities, it says that the 2.5 million is unallocated. Have we determined where we're intending to spend that money on?
Not wholly, and that's why for our reporting system, it goes into an unallocated pot.
Got it. Okay.
The last resolution that I have for you is 10.5, and that's resolution number 24-289. And it's a resolution requesting that the municipal council authorize the designation of myself as the certifying officer for compliance with the National Environmental Policy Act, also known as NEPA, and additionally 24 CFR Part 58 of federal regulation.
Afternoon, Council President and council members. I have one item in front of you this evening. It's agenda number 10.2, resolution 24-286. It's a resolution providing local support for the Number Spot Incorporated to operate a Class 5 retail cannabis business. It will be located at 539 Martin Luther King Drive. It was approved by the CCB on July 10th, 2023, and the Planning Board on April 2nd, 2024. We don't have any distance issues with this location.
Rich?
Newspaper article on marijuana and all the actions. I will forward you a big article from a newspaper out west I just got.
Okay.
Hot City. Ask for it.
Hello, Council President, members of the council. I have one more resolution for the department. It's agenda number 10.21, resolution number 24-305. It's authorizing an agreement between the New Jersey Department of Transportation and the city for the ownership and maintenance of a fire standpipe system. This is in connection with the work that's going on Route 1 and 9 between St. Paul's and Caucus Road. So the maintenance work after this is constructed will actually be done by the Jersey City MUA. They've already agreed to that, but because we are the municipal agency, it's required for us to be the ones who pass this resolution for the New Jersey DOT.
That's it? Okay.
All right, now, I'm gonna take it from the top. Item 3.1, City Ordinance 24-025 is an ordinance expanding the boundaries of the historic downtown special improvement district to include sections of Marin Boulevard, Monmouth Street, Brunswick Street, Fort Street, and Newark Avenue. Item 3.2, City Ordinance 24-026 is an ordinance supplementing Chapter 332, Vehicles and Traffic, Article 7, Metered Parking, Section 332-48B, Designation of Parking Spaces, and Section 332.57, On-Street Parking Permit Zones, and Article 7, Permit Parking, Section 332-58, parking regulations in residential zones for parking regulation, changes in the area between Marin Boulevard and Hudson River waterfront.
This ordinance, our office did, I'm going to pass down to everybody a memo and a PowerPoint outlining it. I won't go into every detail, but obviously happy to answer questions. But the very core basis is this neighborhood is basically the Powerhouse Arts District and a little bit into the waterfront. But basically, that area, there's a large, should be good, yeah. So there's a number of what we call kind of commuter spaces in the neighborhood, but I think in the municipal code they're called kind of reserve spaces. So any person can reserve them, and they've been in the code for I think probably 2 decades. And the idea, back when the waterfront was first developing and there weren't a lot of residential buildings there, and they were just starting the office buildings, was to sort of encourage commuters into Jersey City to purchase those and park on the street. Obviously, the amount of development that neighborhood has seen is just through the roof. I mean, there's probably no neighborhood in the East Coast that's had that much growth in such a short period of time, and that's created a ton of parking pressures. So what we're proposing doing is basically taking a portion of the ones that were reserved for these commuters and turning them into, some would be zone 4 parking, which is the residential zone in the neighborhood, and then some would be metered parking. And then there would still be about, I believe, 60 to 65 of the commuter spaces left. So they wouldn't be 100% eliminated. There would still exist. The basic idea from our perspective is we wanted to create some more spaces for the residents with the zones because they're complaining they can't find spaces. We wanted to help some of the local businesses out to create the metered spaces so they can turn around. And then we wanted to, for the commuters to say, look, at this point, we have a bunch of parking garages in the neighborhood. If you want to commute into the city and park, you can go in the garages and not the street spaces, while still leaving a few street spaces existing. We did analyze it, and we think it's going to be roughly revenue neutral. We'll lose some of the parking meter revenue, parking permit revenue, but we'll gain from both parking meter revenue and from people paying the tax to park in the commercial lots. So we think it'll be about revenue neutral. And if the council passes it, I think the implementation date is in the fall because we know it'll take time to get, all the signs and everything set up. So that's the summary. The memo and the PowerPoint outline it. I'm happy to answer questions or go through it in more detail.
Councilman, are you going to include the memo and the PowerPoint, attach it to the agenda?
Yes, I'm happy to do that.
Okay, great. If you can just email me that, I'll make sure I get that done for you. Any questions on it? Okay. Item 3.3, City Ordinance 24-027 is an ordinance amending Chapter 296, Streets and Sidewalks and Public Rights of Way to clarify the duration of time that a dumpster may be legally placed in a right of way.
This is also in our office submitted. There's a constituent on Columbus and Varick that a dumpster keeps getting placed on Columbus, and he's been reaching out to us for over a year about it. And we've looked into the ordinance, and the ordinance says is you can have a dumpster in the public right of way for 7 days, and then you can renew it 2 more times for a total of 21 days. But then it doesn't clarify that once you've exhausted the 21 days, how long do you have to wait to start the 21 days over again? And so the office was interpreting it with sort of just a reasonable amount of time, but we figured let's put an actual number on it. So we said 180 days, and we did share with Mike and Jen, and they concurred and Doug Carlucci, and they concurred that was a reasonable amount of time. So basically, it just means if you have a dumpster in the right of way, you can do it for 21 days, and then you have to wait 180 days for the next. Yeah.
Any questions? Okay, hearing none. 3.4 and 5 were touched on earlier. On to our second readings. Item 4.1, City Ordinance 24-019 is an ordinance amending Chapter 175, Food Handling Establishments, and Chapter 242, Peace and Good Order of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Jersey City to establish regulations for third-party delivery companies and food delivery drivers. Councilman Solomon, I believe we're going to have an amendment to this ordinance, and I believe the amendment is not a substantial change to the ordinance, so would be able to move forward. Is that correct?
No, I think it's probably going to be substantial at this stage. Yes, I have a copy for everyone to review. So basically, for the colleagues, Dan, if you just take one, pass it down. We'll do just because that shows you the ordinance, but we'll basically send a memo out tonight with the ordinance summarizing it, and then if it's okay with the clerk, and I'll check in with everybody to see if they're comfortable with the changes or if you want more time. And we're happy to keep working on it, or if folks like the changes, we're happy to make the amendments. But if we were to amend, it would be substantial.
So, so you want to amend it where it is substantial, which would then create it to be a first reading ordinance. We would have to reintroduce it on Wednesday.
Okay. I think we can prep for that if everyone tomorrow when I speak.
You can either do it that way, or you can create a new ordinance and defeat this one.
And that's your preferred method, right, Sean?
It is. It's the cleanest way to do it.
I'm happy to do it that way.
Okay. Unfortunately, it would be added as a late item, but it's very explanatory that we're defeating this one to add a new one because it's a substantial change. Okay, we'll do that. As long as the council agrees, that's okay. Very good. All right, next, item 4.2, City Ordinance 24-020 is an ordinance authorizing the acquisition of a section of the Hudson River Walkway known as Block 14502, Lot 4, formerly known as Block 8, Lot 5, from the Jersey City Redevelopment Agency. Next, item 4.3, City Ordinance 24-021 is an ordinance granting an easement to the Lyndhurst Board of Education affecting real property owned by the City of Jersey City, known as Block 233, Lots 11, as shown on the official tax map of the Township of Lyndhurst. Next, item 4.4, City Ordinance 24-022 is an ordinance authorizing an amendment to certain dedication agreement among 126-142 Morgan Street Urban Renewal LLC, 134 Bay Street LLC, and the City of Jersey City dated May 28, 2019 for certain land and improvement located within the Powerhouse Arts District redevelopment area and Provost Street between Bay Street and Morgan Street. Next, 4.5, City Ordinance 24-023 is an ordinance creating Chapter 276 lithium-ion batteries, prohibiting the sale of and second use of lithium-ion batteries, creating a lithium-ion battery business registry and charging regulations for lithium-ion batteries, and supplementing Chapter 160 fees and charges, establishing a fee for the inspection of sellers of lithium-ion batteries and powered mobility device businesses. And last but not least, item 4.6, City Ordinance 24-024 is an ordinance supplementing Chapter 332, Vehicles and Traffic, Article 8, Permit Parking, amending Section 332-58.1, Parking Restrictions in Municipal Lots to establish public parking for McGinley Square Commercial District. Next, we have our public request for a hearing. At this point, we have 50 speakers. Next are petitions and communications. Any questions or comments on items 6.1 through 6.30? Hearing none, any questions or comments on the Office of Communications 7.1 through 7.3? There are no reported directors. We have our claims and on to our resolutions. Items 10.1 through 10.3 were touched on earlier. 10.4, Resolution 24-288 is a resolution of the Jersey City Municipal Council calling on the New Jersey State Legislature to enact legislation to adopt truly democratic ballots for all elections in our state.
Hey, Sean, real quick, 10.8 is a duplicate of 10.4, so we want to withdraw that.
Right. And we'll do that. And I'll just add, well, actually, I will not be at the meeting. I'll be at the Municipal Clerks Conference. So my deputy, John Hallinan, will be here and we'll ask the business administrator just to verify that we're withdrawing 10.8 because it is a duplicate of 10.4. Okay. Item 10.5 was touched on earlier. Item 10.6, this is one of mine. Resolution 24-290 is a resolution of the Municipal Council of the City of Jersey City authorizing the award of a contract to Hudson County Community Enterprise to digitize the minute books of the Municipal Council from January 1961 to April 1988, and all minutes and resolutions and ordinances adopted by the Municipal Council from May 1988 until December of 2019. Council members, this is a continuation of a contract that we have with Hudson County Community Enterprises. They already digitized the earlier minute books of our municipality. So this is just a continuation. And when we're all said and done, when this contract is up and all the work is done, we're going to be proud to say that Jersey City is going to be able to have minutes, resolutions, and ordinances dating back from the the late 1800s all the way to present. So I think we'll be one of the first municipalities in the state to have something like that on our website. All right. Enough of bragging. Next, item 10.7 was touched on earlier. 10.8 will be withdrawn. Item 10.9, city, I'm sorry. Oh, okay. 10.9, City Resolution 24-293 is a resolution in commemoration with the 84th anniversary of the Katyn Forest Massacre. Item 10.10, Resolution 24-294 is a resolution recognizing, sorry about that, April as Sexual Assault Awareness Month. Item 10.11, Resolution 24-295 is a resolution recognizing Bishop Ralphie Brower for his outstanding community involvements. Items 10.12 through 10.22 were touched on earlier. If I don't have anything else, may I have a motion to adjourn at 4:55 PM? Motion made by Councilperson Rivera. May I have a second? Second by Councilperson Prinzary. On the motion to adjourn at 4:55 PM, all council members present by acclamation, please say aye. Please say aye. Don't be all enthused. All right, we're out of here at 4:55 PM. Thank you so much, everybody present and everyone watching at home. Remember, teamwork makes the dream work. Have a great rest of the day, night, and stay safe.